There we go. So everyone's filled with energy. We're excited. We want to get things done. But it's somehow, during, a few minutes into the meeting, 20 minutes into the meeting, something starts to happen. People drift off. They get bored. And because of that, some people get frustrated. And by the end of the meeting, nobody wants to be there. How many people have had a meeting like that? I know I have. But hopefully with these tips that we're going to present throughout the day, we can get rid of that repetitive cycle and make sure your organizations are as productive as they can be. So, that's not supposed to be there. Let's see. Oh, there we go. All right. So, as Russell said, we're going to show you 10 toxic time wasters throughout the day. Now, how many people have heard time is money? How many people believe that? Like the 3 people here. All right. So, this is a lie. I'm going to tell you why it's a lie. Now, I can always make more money, right? I can go hit the grind, make that paper. You know what I'm talking about. Make that paper, make more money. I can never make more time. So what is time? It's my belief that time is life. Because my time's valuable. And I want to thank you for spending your time here today, a bit of your life here today, with us. So if we have an unproductive meeting, we're not wasting somebody's time. We're wasting life, right? So keep that in mind as we go throughout the day. Number 1, most important one in my opinion, improper preparation. When you go into a meeting and you don't know what you're talking about and people talk and they're like, well, what do you guys want to talk about? I don't know, what do you want to talk about? You're having a meeting about what to talk about during your meeting. It doesn't make sense. So to avoid this, proper agendas are always important. Does anybody here use an agenda regularly with their clubs and organizations? They help, don't they? It keeps you on track, keeps you ready, and keeps you focused. Kind of like the whole laser clap thing. As long as you know what's coming and you know what's next, you're able to prepare for that. Along with that, we have to know which officers and committees are reporting. If your president has something important to say, put it on the agenda. If there's a new bit of business that needs to be addressed, put it on the agenda. That way we know what to talk about. Because at the end of the meeting, if we're like, oh wait, we didn't talk about that, and half the group has already left, we sort of get left in a spot where we can't make decisions and do great things that we need to do. Of course, we have to anticipate problems. If we know that, okay, there's an event going on campus and we have to move our business meeting, or this officer's not going to be here, how are we going to do that report? Sort of to see the issues before they come up really helps with that preparation aspect of it. So just to run through an agenda, for those of you who know, we have the call to order, which essentially is bringing the meeting together at a set time. We have our roll call, which is our officers, who's present and who's not. And of course, your VP meeting information takes track of all this in the minutes. We have our approval of the agenda. This is an optional note. Normally, your officers would decide on the agenda beforehand. Reading of the minutes from the previous meeting to make sure that everything's okay and you have a good record of what you're doing. Because in 5 years from now, if, say, MSA, I know you're here, say MSA, oh, we wanted to run that event, I know they did it a few years ago, I wonder how they did it. And they go back to your minutes and you don't have minutes, or they're kept improperly, or your agendas don't match up. It's a little hard for them to move forward, and they sort of have to reinvent the wheel. And that's what we don't want to do. Your reports from your officers and committees, your president, vice president, treasurer, secretary, your committees, special reports, and of course, orders, unfinished general business. Ooh, thank you. Wait, what's that? All right. And of course, new business. All right. So that's your standard agenda. Of course, if you ever want to learn more about this or talk to your student government officers, we're more than willing to help you guys out with this, especially for some of you new clubs who haven't used this before. Cool. Number 2, poor organization. Anybody here not organized? Just a disheveled mess? It's me. Before like this year, I'm finally getting together. So I feel you. But as leaders, it's our job to make sure we're on track and make sure that we're organized. And there are tools that we can use as leaders to do so. With all of the tools that are out there, there shouldn't really be an excuse for us not to be organized. Speaking from personal experience. And you have to sort of make time for it. Make it a conscious effort. Because if you go into a meeting and you have your folders and things out, and you're looking for papers, and you're looking for what you're going to talk about, it's taking time away from the meeting. And what is time? Right. That's right. So we're actually wasting life. So, you have to use the system. Find a system that works for you. Some people are all digital. How many people have smartphones? Anybody addicted to their smartphone? A couple people. Good. My smartphone has my schedule, and that's what works for me. Some people are a planner type of person and everything has to be written down. You have to find a system that works for you. Just to go over a few, Google Calendar, some people still use it. We are actually on SharePoint, which is slightly different since the college changed emails, but you can share calendars, especially with your officers. If you all put your schedule for classes and work in a calendar and share it with one another, it's easier to see when there's time to meet. I know personally, student government uses, we are switching over to SharePoint now, but we use Google Calendar to set up meeting times. Because if you have 4 or 5 officers, it's like, all right, when are you free? Are you free on Tuesday at 2? It's hard to sort of communicate that, but if you can visually see it, that's what makes it easier. Then, of course, you can always go the pen and paper route, but it's important to find a system that works for yourself, whether it's keeping track digitally or writing it down, but to find a system that works for your group. When are agendas posted? When are they, when is it sent out to members? When do we get minutes? It's to figure out your own dynamic and find what works for you. All right. So those are your 2 points for right now. Our next presenter, I first met back in 2008 when I became involved with an organization called Somerset County 4-H. Anybody ever heard of that? Yep. It's not just cows. Some people think it's just livestock and things like that, but it isn't. It's a fantastic program. In fact, nationally, 4-H is the largest external education program outside of public education, and I'm so happy to be involved with that, and really, it's why I'm here today in front of you guys. Our presenter today is Lisa Rothenberger, the county agent for Somerset County, so please welcome her with a nice warm round of applause. Don't do that, and Lisa is a big source of positivity in my life personally, and I want to thank her for coming here, so 2 claps for her. And just a little something.
I'm the Vice President of Media and Information for Student Government, along with a whole bunch of other things. And really quickly, we're going to go through the next 2 of the 10 toxic time wasters. Short, sweet, to the point, so we can get you moving on. Beginning late. Beginning late sucks, and we all saw when Imran showed up late, and
wow.
Thanks.
Good call. But a lot of us, whatever color we are, some of us are going to come running in really late to meetings, and some of us are going to be there 10 minutes early. But the respectful thing to do for everyone, no matter what you're doing or where you are, is to always make sure that you guys can begin on time. Start the meeting when it's supposed to start. If you're starting at college hour for your organization, start at college hour. If you know that you guys are not going to start at 12 o'clock, if you need that extra 10 minutes for people to run to the cafeteria and grab lunch, don't start your meetings at 12. Start them at 12:10. Give yourself that extra time. I know a lot of clubs and organizations have been moving stuff around, and it helps to just give you guys that little extra time to run around. You're going to run into the hallway, you're going to stop and talk to people. Give yourself the time and the space you need, and make sure that when you are starting, you start. Consider pre-meeting caucuses. I love this idea because before the meeting, everyone gets together and we're all sitting there and we're talking, we're chatting, we're catching up. How did your class go? How was your test? What did you get on that assignment? And how's your day going? What happened last week? Where were you? Meet before the meeting. Get all of that talking done. Go over any key points. Review the agenda before the meeting starts. And just take that extra 10 minutes when everyone's running around and doing their stuff to sit, catch up, and then get ready to focus as soon as the meeting's going to start. Time waster number 4, lengthy minutes. You guys should all be taking meeting minutes. It helps, like Conrad was saying earlier, after your meeting's over, if we want to look back, I know when I first started student government, I went and I looked and I read the meeting minutes for old clubs and organizations and saw what they've been doing and tried to get a feel of what my job was and what I was supposed to be doing when I was taking the minutes. But if you just sit and you write everything down that happens all the time, you're going to be reading a bunch of nonsense, and you're wasting not only your time writing the minutes, but also other people's time reading the minutes. So minutes should be a record of what was done, not what was said. I don't care if we spent half an hour debating what we're going to do. It doesn't matter every single point he said, she said. What matters is action that was taken, what was done. Summarize key points of the debate. Someone might have had a really great idea. Don't leave that idea out. People should understand not only what you did, but why you did it in a short and succinct think that's it, right? Yep. We're all set?
Good morning, everybody. So like he said, this is going to be presented at the APCA conference, so we're going to do it to you as we would do it to them, but a little shorter. So we are from Raritan Valley Community College in New Jersey, and we are the Student Life Activities and Planning Board, or SLAP for short. Let's plan your experience. So my name is Corinne Kronheim, and I'm the president.
How you guys doing? I'm Ryan Bonweva, Executive Vice President. I just want to greet you guys a Happy New Year, by the way.
Happy New Year.
Hey, I'm Tyler Collins, and I'm the Student Government Representative.
David Hauk, and I'm the photographer and videographer.
And we are here today to show you how we branded our organization and ourselves, how to retain members, how to gain members, our trials, our errors, and how to have successful events on your campus. We did it and you can do it too. So there's a few steps that we took to rebranding, 5 and 6 that will always be in the process of and still are. So the first one is assessing your organization. So what that is really take a step back, look at how you're seen, look at how other people see you. Step 2 is reviewing that information that you gathered from step 1 and go over it with your team. Step 3 is to create an action plan. So from what you reviewed, where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself right now? Where do you see your goals? And then step 4, make use of your resources. So if you want peer feedback, take a survey, use social media, all that great stuff. And step 5, finally, vote and institute your new brand. So you take all the 4 steps, put them all together, and keep editing and editing until you finally have your new brand. And step 6, repeat as needed. So you're going to want to repeat because everything is changing, always adapting. The college, life, the world, like technology, and your organization wants to adapt too. So the first step is assessing your organization, looking at how it's seen. Do people know who you are? If people were to look at your logo or your slogan, do they know what it stands for? And are you communicating visually? And why do people join? So we used to be called the program board, as most of you know, and we create all the events on campus, or program them. But people thought that programming meant computer programming, so we would have trouble retaining and gaining members. People would come and then realize it was the wrong thing and never return. So from the information we assessed, we had to discover an end goal. So ours was to let people know who we truly were, what we brought to the campus, and what we wanted to bring in the future.
So, how do you find out? You can take several avenues. There's Facebook, online polls, emails, focus groups, but those are a little impersonal. So we hosted the Ice Cream Social, and we ran it like any other event. We put up flyers, spread the word, and we really pushed the ice cream angle because who could resist ice cream? It's delicious, it's enticing. But while they were eating that ice cream, we asked them questions like, what do you think of program board? Or what do we do? Or do you know who ran this event? And with that delicious ice cream in hand, they give us valuable and authentic feedback that we use to move forward. Right?
Yes. Okay, so with the information we gathered, that's only data. We had to take that data and turn it into information. And what we found out is a lot of people didn't even know we existed. Russell, if you can confirm, we've only had the program board for about 4 to 5 years, and so it's still fairly new. We weren't attracting new members. I believe last year we've only had 3 to 4, and there's a lot of misconception. I know in my high school and the school that I've gone to, I don't know about yours, but we usually call our events assemblies, not programs. So there was a lot of misconception, like Corinne said. People thought we were a computer programming, we do coding. And for those that do know us, they only knew us as party planners and, the club that didn't really do anything. So we felt like we weren't really getting that credit that we deserve for all the hard work, such as the spring picnic, the fall picnic, the Halloween bash that we did with OLC. So we felt like we didn't really get that credit. So we had to do something about that.
So after we assessed all the information that we gathered, we had to create the action plan. And our group decision was that we needed some major rebranding. we wanted to get our peers involved, because if peers were involved in changing our organization, they'll be more likely to want to be a part of it and stay a part of it and watch it change and adapt for the future. So what we did was reach out to our fellow students. To do so, we created a design challenge, and we used an email blast, the college website, even our Facebook page to ask people, what did they see the program board as? What did they want the new logo and new name to be? And actually, it worked, because that's how we got Ryan. And he actually won our design contest. So the idea was to make noise. We wanted people to know who we were, what we were going to do, and get new members and keep them.
All right, so we had to vote and institute our brand. So we had to vote on which best suits our organization, which look, which aesthetic, how do we communicate visually? Does it make sense? We had to establish a creative team to make action, all right? And with that, we created some concepts, and then after that, the only way to get a really good brand and logo is to really just take a little building block and just build, and if you think that you're done, you're really not. So a lot of times, we almost thought we were done, but we kept adding on, throwing away ideas, and then we kept building on. And
all this planning actually took place in the summer, because we wanted our new brand to be like into the school once the fall semester started for all the freshmen and everything.
all right, so the design process, how did it come to be about? The name, Slapboard. Would you want to tell them a little bit about that, Corinne?
Well, Ryan created Slapboard because you want to tell them why you got the idea.
There's really three factors that came into play when I was in the thought process of creating the name. One, I really had to think, what is the program board? Where are they located? And I said, they're located in student life. Their advisors are practically student life. And what do? They do activities and planning. All right? And so I was thinking, maybe, okay, if I take those acronyms and mix it up and create a word, but I wanted a word something, this is the second factor, I wanted a word that was somewhat provocative, you know? So I thought, maybe slap, that would get their attention. And so, and the third thing was, it's also a word play. Any bowlers in the room right now? Used to? Okay, see, I'm short, right? I can't dunk. So in basketball, what I do, all right, to get the crowd hyped and excited, I go for a layup and slap the backboard, and everybody goes, oh! So I was like, slap board. So that's kind of bringing the excitement and the provocative word, yet it's tying in the name of Student Life Activities and Planning Board, and so that's how we got the name. Now, for the design process, we had to create multiple variations to logos. Once again, vote, change, edit, and draft. And then once we think that we have the final one, we have to vote again to see if it is the final one. And so here are some of this is our previous logo. It's a PB. It reminded me of peanut butter. And a lot of program boards throughout the country actually uses the same logo. So we wanted to stand out more and be different.
Because that doesn't really, if you look at it, what do you think? Do you know what they do or what they are? Or do you think computers?
It makes me hungry.
So we did a concept phase. We were already thinking of ideas of what we were going to do for the Facebook cover photo, what our logo was. Corinne and I, when we were talking, we said slap. So our initial idea for slap was a handprint. You know, we wanted to make an impact and deliver, you know, the best experience for you guys. But then she was like, wait, aren't we the Golden Lions? So we might as well do Lions Ball. So we started playing with that. And we had to come up with different variations, trying to figure out which color. Of course, if you want to have a logo, you want to keep it simple and also have a black and white variation as well. So we started getting going deeper with it and started thinking if we could change up the paws. But the paws, you know, some were yellow, some were green. Some has claws and some didn't. And to me, the claws kind of looked like chicken legs, you know, like drumsticks. So I was like, nah, it was too clip art, so we weren't having that. So when I got involved with the association, you know, we were almost at this level. We were already about to push this out, but we said no. We decided to put our thinking caps back on and decided to make a few changes, and then this is what we came up with right here. Slapboard, and it's a paw, and it had a banner. So we wanted to go more with a collegiate look. And our slogan at the time was "Be Epic." And here's the other logos that we had, different brands. You know, we had the SB, a paw. We were going with the whole paw theme, but it still seemed a little too busy and too much. And so we decided to break it down more and keep it simple. And so we have something like this. Now we had a banner. We decided to let people know, instead of the SB letters, we wanted to let them know we're from RVCC. So we implemented that in there instead of the SB. And then we had SLAP to let everybody know who we are. And then, but still, you know, it wasn't done. It was still too busy. Next slide, please. And so we decided to have an informal logo and a formal logo. We decided to have the formal logo be the banner because it says Student Life and Activities and Planning, and not everyone knows who SLAP is yet. And decided to have the paw as a informal logo. And yet, you know, it was still too busy, too much words. We decided to just keep it simple, get rid of the Be Epic, and this is what we decided to have now. And then, these are our informal logos. We were thinking, you know, maybe we could have stickers for paws and just really break it down. If you see the RV, you know it's us. If you see the paw, you know it's us. So we really created a brand around that.
And like maybe at our next dance, we can have the paw print stickers leading you into the dance.
Now we had to make use of our resources. One of the things we did was we had our street team, which consisted of 2 or 3 people who went out downstairs, down over there. We had the promo table, and we had 2 or 3 people going around and talking about ourselves, giving out the ballots for the spring picnic. And if we had like fast cards for the event that was coming up, we would give that out too. And then we also had the promo table sitting there that if people walked by, we would get them to come over, sign the ballot real quick, and get them moving along. Then we had campus bulletins. We used campus bulletins. We put up the event planning stuff all over around the school. And you can use that too. Whenever you need to have an event, you can put it there. People will walk around it usually. They'll look at it. They might not look at it, but they'll at least walk by it real quick and they'll glance at it. After they do it a bunch of times, they'll usually remember it. We used a lot of stuff on social media. We have Facebook now, a Twitter and an Instagram. You can follow us, you can like us. We put up all the events, all the pictures of all our stuff that happens, like that annual Halloween dance we had. We have a lot of pictures from that. A lot of pictures.
And actually, Steven and Tyler were a part of what we called started calling our street team. So they were the ones who had to actually go out and dig out all the information. Tyler was good at sitting out all the promo tables to make sure he was taking surveys, and Tyler was awesome at passing out. David was awesome at passing out all the brochures, all the event infos, all the fast cards. They were really awesome.
Yeah, but there were hurdles, challenges. Like when we were designing the logo, there were so many voices trying to participate. And a lot of times, whether the idea was good or bad, like it was just distracting. So like you have to work as a team and just take it one step at a time and finish one idea before moving on to another. And really, as you can see, that worked out. We got our logo up top, it's looking good. Our other major hurdle was we weren't one unified voice. We weren't a cohesive unit. And a lot of people, like, we would think we're different. We had different, like, what is SLAP? What do we do? Like, one person would say, oh, I don't know, we make the parties, the Halloween bash, the spring picnic, that's us. Or we do events like the MLK on January 22nd during college hour. That's also a real event, so I expect to see all you there, just so you know. But, we needed to act as one and speak as one, but we didn't. But after a little bit of practice, we learned how to do that, and now we're one unified slap board.
And now after all this, we learned how to attract new members with like the ice cream social, which is how we got Ryan. We learned how to plan in advance time, promote our events, and promote our like club itself. Learned how to buy the merchandise that we need for the club so that people know who we are. And we learned how to get the word out in one synchronized voice like what Tyler was saying. We learned how to be known for the right things, not programming board like computers and stuff, but slap board, student life activity and planning board. And we learned how to give credit where credit is due. Sometimes people would not know that we did the events when we had the events. We didn't pronounce ourselves that way. And if someone else is doing the event, we'll give credit to them for doing it. We might just be helping out, collaborating. And we learned how to get a new name. Program board, no. Slap board, yes.
The program board is outdated. Every school had it. We needed to create a culture here at RVCC that was different from everything else. And that's how slap board came about. So please follow us on Facebook, or like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. I don't know. We update everything on there. You can learn about our events, then you can see pictures from after the events, and you can even post during the events to see who's there, what's happening, what's going on, and what's coming up after.
And the spring picnic, we have the ballot results. It was Roaring 20s, like Great Gatsby and that sort of thing. Right?
So get excited, tell your friends, show up in just
Free
the
food.
theme.
Free food. You got me free food.
Before we leave off, I just want to say one thing that we really learned. I see a lot of clubs here, many organizations, and I think the one thing that we really learned is to always evolve your organization. Every year, it might be outdated, it might be different. Always evolve and always bring new ideas to attract new members, because the new freshmen that's coming in, they have different mentalities, and you should always, reevaluate yourself and continue to evolve. So
What you have might be great. It probably is great, but everyone can always do better, and we're going to continue with that step 6 and just keep on going. So does anyone have any questions? No? Okay. Thank you very much.
Claps up for that.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Beat me to it.
Good luck.